One of the first things you learn about people is that they almost never say exactly what they mean. Not because they are all liars. That would actually be simpler. No, they speak in safer versions, edited versions, socially survivable versions. They say, "I'm fine," which can mean, "I am not fine at all, but I do not have the energy, trust, or emotional budget to explain it right now." They say, "We should hang out sometime," which often means, "This interaction has reached its natural end, and I would like to leave politely." They say, "That's interesting," which can mean, "I strongly disagree, but I was raised in a society." Human language is fascinating, not because it is honest, because it is strategic. People do not only communicate information, they communicate self-protection. Every sentence is doing two jobs. One job is to deliver the words. The other is to protect the speaker from embarrassment, rejection, conflict, or exposure. That is why conversations are rarely just conversations. They are negotiations about comfort, about power, about ego, about who is allowed to stay emotionally safe in the room. So when someone speaks, there are usually two versions of the sentence: the version they hand you and the version trembling quietly underneath it. No worries sometimes means no worries. Sometimes it means, "I noticed, I judged it, I stored it in a private folder." But yes, officially, no worries. "I'm just tired," can mean tired. It can also mean, "I am one inconvenience away from becoming a very quiet emotional disaster." It's up to you. A beautifully dangerous sentence. Because sometimes it means freedom, and sometimes it means, "There is a correct answer here. I will not tell you what it is, but I will absolutely react if you choose wrong." This is why being around people can feel so exhausting. You are not just hearing words, you are reading weather, tone, timing, eye contact, facial tension, the speed of the reply, the punctuation, the missing punctuation, the K. A single letter that has ended more inner peace than most actual arguments. Because sooner or later, everyone learns the same lesson. Direct truth is expensive. If you say exactly what you mean, you might sound needy. You might sound rude. You might start conflict. You might reveal that you care much more than you wanted anyone to know. So instead, people become elegant little smugglers of emotion. They do not say, "I am jealous." They say, "Wow, must be nice." They do not say, "You hurt me." They say, "It's fine." They do not say, "I need reassurance." They say, "Do whatever you want." They do not say, "I am afraid of losing you." They say, "I just need space." They do not say, "I feel invisible." They say, "Never mind." And the cruel part is, a lot of people do not even realize they are doing this. Because most adults are not masterminds of manipulation. They are just emotionally edited. At some point, life taught them that honesty without armor gets punished. So now everything gets packaged. Anger becomes sarcasm. Need becomes distance. Fear becomes attitude. Disappointment becomes politeness. And then everybody stands around wondering why nobody feels understood. Because people are not only afraid of being hurt, they are afraid of being seen too clearly. To say what you really mean is to remove the costume. It is to say, "I needed you. I felt rejected. I was insecure. I wanted more from you than I was comfortable admitting." And that level of honesty feels illegal to a surprising number of people. Much easier to say, LOL. Civilization, if we are being honest, is mostly a giant agreement to phrase emotional chaos in acceptable grammar. And to be fair, that filter is useful. Without it, half of society would collapse before lunch. But it also means that if you only listen to literal words, you will misunderstand people constantly. You will think they are calm when they are hurt. You will think they do not care when they are terrified. You will think they are being kind when they are quietly backing away from the edge. So the real skill is not paranoia. It is subtext. It is learning to hear the emotional shape of a sentence without turning into a detective in your own relationships. Because no, not every okay is a threat. Sometimes people are actually okay. Rare, but not impossible. The point is not to decode every syllable. The point is to remember that words are often the clean version of a messier truth. So when people speak, listen to the sentence, but also listen to what the sentence is protecting.
Okay.
The pride, the fear, the need, the shame, the wish to not look needy, angry, jealous, disappointed, weak, or painfully human. Because what people say is usually the polished version. What they mean is often standing just behind it, half-dressed, uncomfortable, and hoping nobody looks too closely. And adulthood? Adulthood is realizing that most conversations are not built on honesty alone. They are built on restraint, on fear, on politeness, and sometimes, if you are lucky, on mercy.